Not every Japanese SUV lives up to that legendary reputation for reliability. I'll be blunt, some, in fact, a lot fall apart faster than you'd believe. If you're car shopping in 2025, these are the models you'll want to steer clear of unless you like surprise repairs and resale nightmares. Hello everyone, this is Sully from CarlandTV. It's time to hop in the front seat, because today we're looking at the biggest flops coming out of Japan for the past years. Because sadly, not every badge means bulletproof reliability anymore. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below. The subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now buckle up and let's get back to the video. Nissan Rogue 2023-2025. Back when I first drove the 2023 Rogue, I remember thinking, okay, decent interior, sharp new front end. This might finally be Nissan's comeback. But that optimism didn't last long. The moment I felt that jarring slam of the brakes in the middle of a clear road with zero cars or obstructions around me, I knew something wasn't right. That's the now infamous phantom braking issue, and yeah, it's still plaguing the 2025 model. Nissan's automatic emergency braking system relies on a forward-facing radar that's way too sensitive. It can mistake shadow signs or even overpasses as threats, and it'll force a sudden stop without warning. It's not just a bug, it's dangerous. Despite lawsuits and owner complaints, Nissan hasn't fully resolved the issue. If anything, they've just kept pushing updates and hoping for the best. The Rogue is powered by a 1.5-liter turbo 3-cylinder, 201 horsepower paired with Nissan CVT. I've driven CVTs that feel smooth, but this one's droney, sluggish under throttle, and just uninspiring. The ride's soft, sure, but the steering feels numb, and it leans in corners more than I'd like for an SUV starting around $28,700. You do get some upscale touches, like quilted leather on the platinum trim and a panoramic sunroof, but those are just distractions from the real problem. It's not a trustworthy daily driver. If you're banking on reliability and confidence behind the wheel, the Rogue just doesn't deliver. And trust me, once that AEB slams on you at 70 mph, you won't forget it. Next up, let's talk about a small Toyota SUV that's had its own share of breakdowns and recalls. Toyota Raize 2021-2024. Toyota's got a strong rep for reliability, but not every model lives up to the badge. The Raize looked like a budget-friendly hit when it first dropped. Compact footprint, punchy little 1-liter turbo engine, and a starting price that sat well under $1 million. I drove the mid-spec CVT variant for a few months. Daily use traffic, some light highway. And while it felt sharp at first, the issues started creeping in faster than I expected. The biggest problem is the braking system. There's a flaw in the ECU that causes the brakes to engage hard on their own. No obstruction, no warning. You're cruising at 40, and suddenly the car lurches forward like you've stomped the pedal. It's terrifying, and the worst part is that it doesn't throw a code or warning light. Just happens. Then came the rattles. I started hearing metallic clicks from the front end, especially over uneven roads. Turns out some Raize units had weak welds in the fender apron area. Critical structural joints that literally keep the front of the car together. Under enough stress, those welds can separate. That's not wear and tear. That's a manufacturing flaw. To top it off, select units were fitted with a faulty airbag control capacitor. That's a fancy way of saying your airbag might not go off when you need it most. Add in the early brake pad wear from poor caliper assembly, and what you've got is a car that cuts too many corners to hit its price point. The Raize looks good and drives fine for the first few months, but once the problems show up, they hit hard. I wouldn't bet safety or peace of mind on it. Now let's get into another compact SUV with a trusted badge, but a drivetrain that's been raising eyebrows for years. Toyota Venza 2021-2024. I got behind the wheel of the 2021 Toyota Venza thinking I'd found the perfect blend of upscale comfort and Toyota reliability, but after a week with it, I walked away scratching my head. The Venza tries to play the near-luxury card in a mid-size package, but it's really just an RAV4 hybrid in a fancier suit, and that suit comes at a price. At $34,000 to over $43,000 for the limited trim, you'd expect top-tier performance and practicality. What you get instead is a soft, slow drive powered by the same 2.5-liter four-cylinder hybrid that makes 219 horsepower. Not enough to move its heavier body with any urgency. Merging on the highway feels sluggish, and when you push it, the engine drones like it's working overtime just to keep up. Inside, yeah, it's sleek. The 12.3-inch touchscreen and electronic shifter look sharp, and that stargaze panoramic glass roof definitely turns heads. But that same electrochromic roof is sealed tech, so if it breaks, it's a pricey headache to replace. And let's talk about its cargo space. With only 28.8 cubic feet behind the second row, it's worse than some compact SUVs. The sloped rear roofline eats into headroom and loading height, and the rear seats don't fold flat. Basically, that means you're sacrificing function for form. Plus, Toyota already confirmed they're axing the Venza after 2024, which should raise red flags. Fewer units on the road mean lower resale value, fewer parts, and a smaller aftermarket. It looks good in a showroom, sure, but long-term the Venza just doesn't deliver where it counts. Now, if you think that's rough, wait till you hear what's going on under the hood of the certain models of the Infiniti QX50, and spoiler alert, it's not pretty. Infiniti QX50 2019. I really wanted to like the second generation of the Infiniti Q50 when it came out in 2019. On the surface, it's awesome, handsome, styling, leather-wrapped everything, and that futuristic dual-screen setup. But once you start driving it, the cracks show fast. The headline feature was the VC Turbo 2.0-liter engine, a variable compression motor that adjusts on the fly for performance or fuel economy. Cool tech in theory. In practice, it felt jittery and confused, especially when paired with a CVT that droned like a shop vac under load. Laggy throttle response, inconsistent torque delivery, and a weird hesitation when accelerating from a stop made the whole experience frustrating. I put about 300 miles on it over a weekend trip, and the fuel economy wasn't anything to write home about either. Mid-20s at best, not much better than a regular turbo four-cylinder. The ride was floaty, but didn't soak up bumps well, and the interior, while soft to the touch, had squeaks and rattles that started showing up under 20,000 miles. At around $45,000 new, that's just not acceptable. Infotainment is a dual-screen setup that looked futuristic, but it was dated even at launch, slow, clunky, and way behind what Acura, Audi, or even Mazda was offering at the time. Cargo space was tight too, especially with that coupe-like rear roofline. You get 31.1 cubic feet behind the rear seats, which is less than many compact crossovers. It's not practical, it's not fun, and it's not aging well. If you're shopping in 2025 and looking at a used luxury SUV, trust me, there are better bets out there. And speaking of disappointment, the next SUV might surprise you. Subaru Crosstrek 2013-2018. I've driven a few early Crosstreks from the 2013 to 2018 range, and I'll be real with you. They had charm, especially with that lifted stance and go-anywhere Subaru attitude. But after a couple of months in one, the truth starts to show. This is one of those Japanese SUVs that just doesn't hold up well long-term, especially if you're looking to buy used in 2025. The heart of the issue is that underpowered 2-liter FB20 flat-4 engine. On paper, it makes 148 horsepower, but in real-world driving, especially paired with the sluggish Lineartronic CVT, it feels like you're dragging a parachute behind you. Highway merges are a prayer, and uphill climbs are just so stressful. And then there's the oil consumption. This generation of FB engines had known piston ring issues leading to excessive oil burn well under 50,000 miles. Subaru even settled a class action lawsuit over it. Add to that valve, cover leaks, head gasket seepage, and CVT units that tend to wear early if you don't baby them with perfect maintenance, and you're looking at serious ownership headaches. The interior quality was decent, but basic, and there was lots of hard plastic, and the touchscreen tech was already outdated by 2016. Cargo space was just 22.3 cubic feet behind the second row, and the ride was stiff on anything but perfect pavement. For $21,000 to $26,000 when new, it felt like a cool lifestyle car. But in 2025, it's not aging well. If you find one used, you better hope the previous owner was meticulous or you're inheriting someone else's wallet drain. And if you thought the Crosstrek's engine issues were bad, wait till we get into the next SUV. Honda Passport 2023-2024. I took the 2023 Honda Passport Trail Sport out for a few days, thinking I'd finally found a rugged V6-powered SUV that could do it all. But by the end of that test drive, I knew this wasn't the one I'd recommend come 2025. On paper, the Passport has a lot going for it, a 3.5-liter V6, pushing 280 horsepower, a spacious cabin, and Honda's reputation for reliability. But dig a little deeper, and it starts to fall apart. First, the 9-speed ZF automatic transmission is clunky at low speeds. Shifts are hesitant and jerky, especially when rolling into traffic or climbing a grade. For a vehicle priced around $43,000 to $48,000, that lack of refinement just doesn't cut it. The Passport is wide and rides high, but the steering feels numb and disconnected. That makes it less maneuverable than you'd expect for its size. Fuel economy is mediocre too. It's 20 miles per gallon combined at best. And real-world numbers often dip below that, especially with all-wheel drive. The Trail Sport trim adds off-road styling and a slightly wider track, but no real mechanical upgrades. It has the same road-biased suspension and the same low approach angles. And even the ride comfort suffers over the cracked pavement. Inside it's roomy, but feels dated. The infotainment screen is an 8-inch unit, small by 2025 standards, and the software hasn't evolved in years. There's no hybrid or turbo option either, and that makes it less competitive as gas prices rise and rivals offer more tech and efficiency. So while the Passport looks rugged and sounds strong, it's really just a bloated 2-row Pilot with a dated drivetrain and limited upside long-term.